Well, happy Friday! Oh, I'm so glad the weekend is here. I want to thank you so much for coming, and I am having a wonderful time. We are going to talk about managing diversity in the workplace. And I have 3 points. I'm actually going to make an argument here today. A little unusual, perhaps, an attorney making an argument. What are my 3 points? The first one is that managing diversity is the most important skill in life. Did I just say that? I said it's the most important skill in life. Yes, it is. Diversity, according to Webster's dictionary, is the condition of being different. And in our lives, we have different people that we work with. And we also have different, diverse people in our personal lives. Do you have different, diverse people in your families? Anyone? Yes, I'm in the process of putting together a family reunion for later this year, and I won't go into details about my crazy uncle and some of my family members, but I've got a lot of diversity right there. Do I have to manage that diversity when I'm planning family events and functions? Yes, I do. And when I look back in my life and I ask, is it true that managing diversity is the most important skill in our lives? I look back to when I was a child. And I'm what is affectionately called an Army brat. What that means is my father is in the military, and I grew up on military bases my entire life. I was born in Germany, and I moved around the world, and by the time I finished high school, I'd moved 10 times and lived in 8 different states. I never lived anywhere for more than 2 years in my entire life. Was I different when I went to a new school? Did I have to learn how to fit in very quickly and manage diversity? Yes. Yes, I used these skills growing up. Then, as I got older, I went off to college. And I'll be very honest, I am quite a bit of what some people would call a nerd. I was in school for a long time. I was in college for 9 years. Yes, I was. I went to school and I got a bachelor's degree, and I said, well, that's just not quite enough. And then I went to law school and I got a doctorate of jurisprudence, and I said, that's still not enough. And then I went to business school and I got a master's of business administration. It was 9 years. And I was on my own. I was self-supporting ever since I left home. And what I had to do is I was always in a position, if I wanted to work or I wanted to go to school, I wanted to eat, I had to work. Consequently, I have worked lots of different diverse types of jobs. I've been in every sector of our economy, from food service to retail to sales. I've sold automobiles. I actually sold Acuras. If anyone has a question on break about the Acura product line, please feel free to ask me. I also worked for a company called First USA. They sell credit cards. I would call this part of the company sometimes while you were at home eating dinner, and I would try to sell you a credit card over the phone. What would you do sometimes? You'd hang up on me and you'd hurt my feelings. But that's okay. I knew how to manage diversity, so I just picked up the phone and I smiled and I dialed and I called the next person on my list. I also worked for almost 2 years for a company called Psychic Friends Network. Has anyone seen... Has anyone seen any of the commercials my company runs? Now it's Madame Cleo. Anyone seen any of these ads? Yes, yes, yes. It is a diverse world. There are different types of jobs. And yes, that's a real business, and those are real people that answer the phones, people like myself, professional psychics. So I've done a little bit of everything. In the last 7 years, I have been entirely in the legal field. In the last 7 years, I was on the faculty at University of Texas at Austin School of Business, where I taught business law. And then I went out into private practice. I opened my own small law firm I still run today. In my capacity as an attorney and a professor, I talked about managing diversity. Certainly when I was teaching, that's what I spent a whole semester, teaching future managers and supervisors what types of diversity do they need to be aware of. Then I went out, when I opened my little company, and I found out something that somewhat shocked me. In real life, we have a lot of different organizations that are not appropriately and effectively managing diversity. And I learned that because I had the opportunity to sue quite a few organizations. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I sued large organizations like American Airlines and Wells Fargo. And I sued smaller organizations and family organizations. It didn't matter how large they were or what industry they were in. They all had an inability to appropriately train and to appropriately understand how crucial managing diversity is. My first point was that managing diversity is the most important skill in life. My second point is that you can manage diversity. It can be done. How? Well, when I had the opportunity to sue many of these organizations, I found there's two equally important areas that lead to disputes that in turn become lawsuits. What are they? The first is too many of us at our jobs do not know. We have just no concept of what the rules are in terms of the laws. There are federal laws and there are state laws that mandate you to manage diversity. And a lot of the managers do not know. They have no idea. And so what are they doing? Well, they're joking with somebody at work, teasing them about their age. Are there any federal laws that protect people who are older? Yes, we have a law, the Age Discrimination Employment Act of 1967, that protects older people. At what age are you old under this federal law? 40. That's right. Anyone who didn't know? 40. My point number one, a lot of us just don't know. We just don't know. We have a lot of other laws that protect people, diversity, things about disabilities, ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, in 1990 law. Then we have some civil rights acts. We have a Civil Rights Act in 1866 and another one in 1964 that protects people based on their race and color, gender, national origin, and religion. We also have a Pregnancy Discrimination Act. Yes, we do, 1978, that protects pregnant people from discrimination. We have lots of different federal laws. And one of the problems that we have with these organizations, small and large, is you just don't train people. Do companies have a responsibility legally to train their managers about basic discrimination laws? Yes. And just a few months ago, a U.S. Court of Appeals found that companies who fail to train their team members about basic anti-discrimination laws are committing reckless indifference. So what? What's that mean in real life? Well, when the court finds that your company didn't train your employees appropriately about what the law says about how to manage these different diverse types of populations, and you've committed reckless indifference, then what that opens the door for is something called punitive damages. Punitive damages. Does anyone know what that means? Lots and lots of money. That's right. Because punitive means punishment. That's all it means. And so punitive damages opens the door for your company to have large amounts of money assessed against you just to punish you. And you can have punitive damages be off the chart. There was a case last year where a gentleman sued Philip Morris. He's a smoker, and he sued Philip Morris. This isn't me smoking. And he had a jury award him. It was on television. Did anyone see this case? He was awarded initially by a jury $3 billion in punitive damages. One person. $3 billion. When you look at managing diversity, and I'm telling you it can be done, I know that because I've gone out and become very active as a consultant and a trainer. And the reason that I started consulting and training is most of these employment problems, most of the lawsuits I was involved in, they're preventable. They're absolutely, positively preventable. You have to give people the information. Just let them know what the rules are. That's part one. They got to know what the laws are. And part two, that's equally important to manage diversity, is you have to put people with leadership skills in leadership positions. You have to do this. Because we've got all the different types of diversity that laws play a role with. And we also have other types of diversity in the workplace. Personality differences. Has anyone ever worked with a whiner? Anyone ever worked with someone, you go to work in the morning and they say, oh, another day, another dollar. They don't pay me what I'm worth. They don't appreciate me. Are they different? Yes. We've got all these different types of diverse people we've got to deal with. And you have to have people with leadership skills who can embody and lead by example. How do you communicate effectively? We've already had several of our presentations today focusing on communication. That's the bedrock. It is. People understand what the information is. They also have to have the ability to communicate. Has anyone ever said to you, that's what I said, but that's not what I meant? If you've ever had someone say that to you, then they're letting you know that your communication skills are not what they could be. When we communicate with each other, it's not the words that we say that are the most important. It's the other things. It's our body language. It's our facial expressions. It's the tone of our voice and the emotion. Those are the things that we're communicating the majority of the information with. And I know this because that's how I was such a successful phone psychic. It wasn't my psychic skills. It wasn't. It's my ability to read voices. What I did, I just learned and I honed the skill to read voices. There's emotion in people's voices. I can hear fear, I can hear apprehension, I can hear joy, I can hear confidence. And I also learned and trained myself how I communicate with my voice. Not the words I'm saying, but the tone. And then my facial expression and my body language. You have to have these leadership skills to be able to integrate appropriately the ability to manage diversity. And my third and final point, managing diversity in the workplace, it is fun. It is. Because what's the alternative? What's the alternative? We're either going to manage it, we're going to implement that training, or we're not going to manage it, and then if you don't manage it, do you end up paying for it later? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. We just had some discussion about Walmart in our last session about some of the wonderful things Walmart's done. That's true. Walmart also has been sued several times for age discrimination. Walmart also, when they went international and they went to open Walmart stores in Germany, they didn't look at the diversity. Are there differences between Germany and the United States? Yes. And Walmart went to Germany and opened their stores just like they opened them here in America. Were they a success? No. Walmart was losing $300 million a year. Diversity is internal within your organization. It's also external to your customers. And you also have to look at the global economy that we're in. It's imperative that you utilize both the knowledge of the laws equally with those leadership and communication skills. And that's what I do. And I enjoy it, and it's fun. And when I come to your organization, what we'll do is we'll customize the solutions to meet your industry and your needs. And we will have an opportunity for your employees and all of your team members to leave with skills that will change their life. They absolutely will change their life. I thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday, and I look forward to meeting all of you individually. Thank you very, very much. You had a good one.
All right.